Always learning and growing. Attracting the right people and keeping your vision in focus every day. This is the Brian Covey Show.
Hey, what's happening, guys? It's Brian Covey, and welcome to another edition of the Brian Covey Show. So today, super excited to bring on Tyler Bossetti. We had actually connected up over on Instagram, and I was looking at some of the things Tyler's done. We both have a mutual experience in the mortgage industry, so we'll unpack some of that. But he's also somebody that has a great deal of experience and is going to share about credit. And that's one of the things today that, you know, whether you're buying a home, you're buying a car, you're looking to scale your new business, whatever you're trying to do, it's an important thing. And Tyler's also going to touch on his businesses and how he's really taken his entrepreneurship to the next level. The other thing that you guys know in the fitness realm that I love, and I can't wait to unpack this, is I learned that Tyler has also been training for some ultra marathons and doing quite a bit in the fitness side. So I'm sure that will come out and it's going to be a great episode. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. So Tyler, my friend, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much, Brian. I appreciate the opportunity and the power of social media, my man. Here we are after connecting on Instagram and being able to touch, hopefully, thousands of people on this recording. So really appreciate the opportunity.
Dude, likewise. And isn't it crazy? Think about years ago, we probably would have found each other on social media. You wouldn't, and if you did, you wouldn't know all you could find out today about people. And that's when we connected. And it was interesting because you're like, hey, yeah, I've actually been in the mortgage business, which today is probably the most chaotic it's ever been. And so I would love to hear your take, because now that you're not in the business, but you're watching it kind of like maybe from afar, but you know how it operates. It's crazy with everything happening there. What's your perspectives? You kind of just see the numbers and you probably track mortgage volume is through the roof. What's your take, or what are you kind of seeing?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's probably the most chaotic time, probably more even chaotic than the financial crisis, 12 years ago.
Yeah,
which is a good chaos. It could potentially lead to some bad chaos down the road, which we can touch on a little bit. But what is funny, some previous colleagues of mine, when I was in the mortgage industry for, as I mentioned before we started recording here, for 5 years, some of them are messaging me like, hey, some of your clients are calling us back to refinance, or people message me on social media, hey, Tyler, I know you originated my loan a year ago. It looks like terms are better. Should I refinance? So I'm trying to just, get them back over, to the great team that I was on before. But outside looking in, I mean, there's, the biggest thing to look at is rates are historically low, right? So you have a massive book of business that you can refinance, help them save hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. But then there's also an interesting side of things where when the quarantine occurred back in March, going into early April, you had just economy rule 101, which is supply and demand. You had people that were, slashing the inventory in half, which is an increase in prices, but now you have more highly, higher qualified in terms of debt to income ratio buyers out there. They may be only, previously to the quarantine, maybe they only qualified for a $400,000 loan. Now with better terms, maybe they qualify for that extra $50,000 to $75,000. And that property that was originally listed for $400K now be worth, $415,000, $425K because of, again, simple supply and demand.
Yeah.
So you're really seeing it from two angles. It's a seller's market, a buyer's market, and it's a refinance market and a purchase market all happening at once. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever seen anything like it. And I know it was just interesting because with your experience being there, we're going through that today. And you brought up the piece about, we've all been working from home for a while, and we were talking a little bit about how you're training for this ultra marathon, which I think is a cool piece. And during this season, I've noticed people either kind of leaned in more on some of the challenges and, maybe it's their health and fitness and all that there, or you've seen another group, they've kind of retreated and they've scaled back. They haven't been as aggressive. And it seems like for you, I think the two go hand in hand. I was listening to you as you're talking about your training, right, for this ultra marathon and just training in general, but then also your businesses, you're scaling those as well. Do you see those going together where training's providing that insight and almost motivation for you scaling businesses as well?
Yeah, absolutely. There's really like 4 core principles that I've really kind of taken upon myself of consistently growing. And I think they always go hand in hand. And that is your mind, your body, your spirit, and your business.
Yeah.
If you wake up every day and work on your mind, whether it's doing meditation or reading a book, going on a walk, a certain set of routines every morning that helps your mind, and then, go hit a hard workout, helps your body. And then again, going back to, let's say, doing yoga or meditating, working on your spirit, it's almost inevitable that if you're doing those 4 things, then it's all going to align and every area is going to grow with your business as well.
Yeah, and I've seen that. Most of the successful people that I've tried to surround myself with and gotten to know is they have those 4 components, like you said, and they try to make sure that they're integrated and balanced out so that, I've often found like if your mind's not sharp and you're not really intentional there, it's hard then to shift over and be running your business efficiently and scaling the growth. So for you, I'm curious, going back a little bit, so you're in the mortgage business and many people may not know your story there, but tell us about you decided to exit that and then to kind of start your own business and tell people about that, because there's a lot of people that listen to the show and that we're connected with that have started businesses. And this would be good for them just to kind of hear like where you started and how you did that, why you did that, and just some of your journey and your story there.
Yeah, absolutely. So before entering the mortgage business 5 years ago, I actually dropped out of college here at The Ohio State University. You have to add on, the "the" at the beginning.
Yeah.
I'm in Columbus, Ohio. So, even 5 years ago, it's in a very affordable city. It was up and coming. I had an amazing mentor, one of the best, mortgage loan originators in the entire country, kind of take me under his wing and help build out to be, which is now one of the top lenders in the entire state, one of the best in the entire country. So I learned an abundance amount of information in the mortgage industry, forever grateful for it. But during that 5-year period of time, talking with over 7,000 clients and seeing over 7,000 credit reports, I understood, wow, it really comes down to 3 areas when it comes to buying a house, but it really comes down to 3 areas with anything with your finances, and that is credit, income, and assets. And the one that affects almost everything is credit. I say credit is the foundation of people's finances, and what that led to is after doing record month after record month and rapidly growing within the industry, there was really kind of like a missing fulfillment. For those that may have read the book or heard or watched videos on like the 4 quadrants of what it means to be, like an employee, self-employed, business owner, and investor. On paper, it's nice to tell people it's nice to say that I'm a loan originator, I'm a business owner, but in reality, I still felt like I was trapped in that employee / self-employed kind of rat race. And I was still kind of working with one hand tied behind my back. So since then, a year ago, around this time last year, I started to realize, wow, there's a great opportunity to partner with one of my business partner, Jeff, and build a financial services company where we help entrepreneurs leverage credit and other creative financing options to, like you said, scale their business, create additional passive income streams through, let's say, investing into real estate. And by doing that, you can build legitimate generational wealth without ever touching your own cash, using credit and leveraging credit.
I think a lot of people don't even know where to start, and you think about, you had this experience, right? So you kind of learned the business and it was amazing. You worked with a great team, like you said. So you almost, when I listen to you talk about how many customers and how many like actual customers, you got to look at credit, structure deals, help people. I mean, that could be for some people 10 or 15 years it takes to actually work. And that's what we talk about a lot is, during this season, especially right now, this could be in a year or 2 years, could be worth 8 to 10 years of experience, because like if you're originating 100 loans a year and now you're originating 300 loans a year, or you were doing 30 loans a year, now, 90, whatever it is, scaling, when you see 7,000, different scenarios, customers, you get really good. The repetition is there. But I love how you took that out and you're using that experience now. And credit, as you talked about, that foundation, a lot of people just don't understand credit, right? I mean, you talk about scaling a business and doing that stuff. They may just be going, hey, Tyler, like I don't even understand like where's a good place to start to look at my credit?
Yeah.
Because you hear Credit Karma and you hear all these places like go pull your credit here. With your experience there, anything you would give tips around someone that's just wanting to learn more about their own personal credit and to kind of know where they stand today? How can they do that?
Yeah, absolutely. And, what you said, I definitely want to reiterate what you just said. Seeing, again, 7,000 people's situation over 5 years, I remember my mentor telling me every single day that you are here, it is like, 2 weeks for somebody else in the industry because of the amount of volume that was coming in. So you are exactly right. If you are in the real estate industry as a whole, you are getting 3 years of experience condensed down into maybe a handful of months, right? So it's a great opportunity. Although there's a lot of turmoil going on in the world, you could say it usually means there's a lot of opportunity as well.
That's right.
So to kind of go back to your question though, Brian, in terms of where do I even start when it comes to credit? The best place to look, in my personal opinion, is going to myfico.com, or you can go to creditchecktotal.com, which is branded through Experian, and you can pay $1 to view a real 3B FICO report, or you can again go to myfico. I believe it's almost like $30 if you pay for the initial report and get set up on a subscription. But the biggest mistake people make, as I'm sure you know more than anyone else, is they will go to those free, online sites, or they will go to Credit Karma and they will view what's called a Vantage Score. A Vantage Score is basically an algorithm that is built to try to copy and simulate the FICO score. There's actually 10 different FICO scores, and there's a different FICO score for each type of financing you're trying to acquire, whether it's a mortgage, an auto loan, or a credit card. So the best thing to do is go actually pay $1 to view your real FICO score, and you'll be able to see exactly where you are. If you do not pay money for a credit score, it is not a legitimate or a real credit score.
Yeah, and then what happens is, is then we end up, they go to buy, a home, or they're buying a car or something of real value. Like, I have no idea. Why is my credit this? I thought it was that. And so everybody's like, credit is power today, because I know we were talking about this earlier. Is if you're able to leverage credit and scale, whether that's your business or to get just your debts in order and leverage that to grow, whether it's yourself, your brand, we see a lot of people investing there, or to invest back in your business today. You see a need and an opportunity, you need to be able to go and put capital towards that, or the business probably does not grow. And for most people, they don't have that mindset of how am I going to grow it? And so that kind of leads, I was thinking about this for you, is like, as I was researching some of the things you're doing, and I watched, you've scaled your social media, you're scaling a business, you got all these things there. What would you say to people today? Because this is something I really, I believe in, is scaling your own personal brand. And tying that back into, obviously you offer a product or service or something there, but what's that journey been like for you to scale your brand, and then maybe the impacts of how that's actually generated revenue?
Yeah. We probably all know who Gary Vaynerchuk is. Probably one of the most influential people when it comes to content and building a brand. I met him last year at an event, and I just asked, hey, what is one piece of advice you can give me? I just wanted there to be just one takeaway from him, right? And he said, attention. And then he just walked away. So I was like, okay, I get it now. It's starting to actually make sense now. If people do not know who you are and what you do, and you cannot, influence people, there's a difference between being an influencer on social media or being influential. But if people don't know who you are and you have zero attention, then you're never going to be able to sell any product or service.
That's huge. So I want to unpack that a little bit, because I think that's important for a large part of our audience, real estate, mortgage, sales, and all that there. And I've seen some people lean in on this, and obviously I'm still early in my journey. I've leaned in, and I'm investing there, and I'm learning that attention piece. When Gary Vee shared that, caught my attention, because it was so simple, yet we've made it complex. And so as you kind of got that insight from Gary Vee, and he's like, hey, okay, Tyler, it's attention. what would you suggest for people, or maybe what's worked for you on how to get that attention? Because you hit on something else I would love for you to unpack in a minute on the influencer versus being, actually influential. So I'm going to save that, but what would you say as far as like scaling out to get attention? Like where can people get attention, especially in financial services, real estate, in those sales type roles today?
Yeah, and I know that because I battled this as well. We talked about this before the recording. If you are in the financial services field, or you're a realtor, or you're a lender, and you're working for a big company, there's a lot of compliance that comes with that. Again, I remember posting my first video about how credit is built. Like, here's the factors of how your credit score is built. And I remember our marketing team coming to me the next day saying, hey, Tyler, you might want to pump the brakes. You're starting to get, it doesn't even matter if you have, an audience or not. It's just certain rules you have to abide by. But the best thing to do is, it's so simple. Everyone says it, but it's the truth. And that's why everyone says it, is you have to give more value than what you're essentially charging. Yeah. So what I mean by that is, I think if people just pull back the layer a little bit more of what they're actually doing on a day-to-day basis, it doesn't have to be super complex. If you're a realtor, you can just walk to a property, record it, and say, I'm out here at this property with my buyer. We're actually probably not going to buy this property because there's chipping paint, cracking in the sidewalk, no handrails. My buyer's only qualified for FHA, and we're not going to be able to go conventional. Give that value. So now the person that's watching you as an agent, figuring out if they want to use you as an agent or not, they're like, wow, I actually learned by watching this person over 30 to 60 days, these 2 to 3 things that I never even knew or never even thought of. I want to go work with them now, and I want them to make money off of my purchase.
Love that. And one of my coaches shared is, Brian, the more you can document your journey, and like you said, like a couple layers beneath just the surface of, there's things that we all know and we can share that are 30,000 feet above. Like, we should post every day, right? So someone said, okay, great. Like, what do I post? And then going underneath and documenting your journey of problems you've solved, to your point, people you've helped, and the things that didn't work out. I find people, like when I share things about mistakes or problems that, we didn't even fix them actually. They're still a problem. Yeah. People are like, oh man, I relate to that. Like I'm still dealing with that. I'm stuck. And that's what I think we've gotten too caught. Right?
And I think for me, what helped the most was I realized from one of my mentors, and consistently paying for coaching and consistently learning from people that are in a completely different category in business than me. When I really realized, okay, I want to focus on these 4 things: mind, body, spirit, business. You don't need to capture everyone. You just need to capture a niche. The riches are made in the niches, right? So if you can go really broad and say, hey, I want to talk about mind, body, spirit, business, and I want to post about this specific book I'm reading, this specific training cycle that I'm going through, this specific business and industry that I'm in, guess what's going to happen? You're going to filter the people through to you, and you don't have to overcomplicate it. Then you'll figure out what's working, what's not working, and kind of figure out what, is your thumbprint in terms of what you want to leave on social media.
Dude, I love it. That's great advice. And that's what I knew the conversation would unpack, some of those things. So the last area I was going to hit on, because we've dropped some real value, and I love what you said there, is like, give more value than, asking and trying to take something back. And the people that I've followed the most, and even like watching some of your stuff, is like, if I can learn something or I can engage in the content, it's positive and uplifting, makes me laugh, or it'll actually help me today. And there's not an ask on the other side of it. It's, oh, you got to go subscribe, or you got to buy my book or my course to do all of it. Chances are, when they do actually have a service or a product, I'm in. Like, you've created it. So for you, as you're scaling your business, I know you guys are kind of early. This whole opportunity this year, I've asked a lot of guests that have come on, where do you see the opportunities going forward? Because I kind of think about the market and the industries are going to change, and people like us that are innovative and creative are going to find those niches, right? They're going to see them. Do you see anywhere that you guys are going to lean in on, and you feel like, okay, this is something I can see changing? We're going to lean in here, and this is really an area that we believe we're going to be successful moving towards and providing that service.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm excited that you brought that up, because again, when there's a lot of chaos, there's a lot of opportunity. and there's an opportunity to pick up on trends. I think that at the end of the day, if you want to build wealth and you want to make more money and you want to live life more on your own terms, you should probably start a business, make it profitable, invest into real estate and dollar cost average, the S&P 500. 99.9% of the time, if you do those three things, you're probably going to have millions of dollars, right? It's proven. But what we've done is, as we built out this company the last 12 months and been really dialed in and deploying a ton of time, energy, and capital into it, one thing I've discovered is you want to try to build a wheel within your company. And what I mean by that is we are a financial services company that focuses on high level consulting for entrepreneurs, right? We have entrepreneurs that come in that are doing, 6 to 7 figures a month. And then we have a whole other tier, right? And we're going to be building out a whole other level of a mastermind. But then we also built out our credit repair company. And that is a recession-proof / recession thriving type company. So if there is more turmoil over the next 6 to 12 months and we go into a horrible depression and people can't afford our high ticket consulting, guess what? This other side of our business actually just 10x because everyone is defaulting on their loans, they're defaulting on their credit cards. We can go through a legal process to get that cleaned up in 30 to 90 days and hand them right back off to this other side. So if you can create like a wheel within your business that if this side is failing, this side is thriving, and then try to create balance amongst the two. And that is something that I recognized was, again, after seeing 7,000 credit reports, and a $3 billion industry and 300 million Americans, we all need credit. So let me build out this credit repair company that will also feed this other side of the business.
Love that. That is probably some of the best wisdom I've heard in balancing those two. You're right, for when the market does this, when the market shifts and does that, and then to have services that really complement each other, but you're adding value to those same customers that they may be in both, or you may be able to scale that by serving two different groups. And man, you've dropped some great information. So what I would love is tell people where they can find you and find out more information, because you unpacked a lot today that I think is going to have people thinking that they may be interested in your services, or they may just want to learn more.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm pretty active on Instagram. I usually get back to people within 24 hours. So you can find me at Tyler Bossetti, TYLER BOSSETTI. Or you can go to our website, which is 0%.com, the number 0% spelled out.com. If you go to that at this very moment, or when this video is released, our CTO has it under construction right now. So it's going to look a little bit, more pretty, if you will, in the upcoming days. But yeah, 0%.com, or find me on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, reach out. Would definitely love to connect.
Love it. And I'm glad we connected, because these are the type of relationships you form and you build that, for all those listening, that social, when you can take the relationships offline and actually connect and then collaborate and do things like this is really where the future is going to be for all of us.
Yeah, I think social media gives people the opportunity to, create like a real valued relationship with people. And it's kind of like that friend that you can go back to and you start right where you left off, if you will. So, and it's also cool to just see what people are doing, on a regular basis. It's, not like 20 years ago where you had no idea what your friend was doing the last 5 years. You can see, basically everything of what's going on with people's day-to-day life.
Yeah, it's changed. And that's, again, where the attention is shifting, we need to shift with it. So, guys, this has been incredible. Tyler, thank you so much. And I learned a ton, which is always good as I go back and listen to this. And I would encourage everybody, make sure you go back, like and subscribe at The Brian Covey Show, and make sure you're following along. Everything we bring you guys is all about growing, learning, and improving yourself so you can be that best version of yourself and attack the market and really do something special during this lifetime and leave a legacy. So, Tyler, thanks for contributing to this and just adding a ton of value. Like we talked about, you've brought a lot to the group, man. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you so much, Brian. I appreciate the opportunity, and looking forward to coming back soon.
Awesome. You guys, make sure you follow along, like, subscribe. You got Tyler's information. Make sure you connect up with me over on Instagram at The Brian Covey. and then, of course, over on LinkedIn. And let's make sure that we are helping each other learn and grow and be our best every day. Until then, guys, check out the episodes and make sure you follow along. See you on the next one.
Subscribe, rate, and review The Brian Covey Show today. Go to briancovey.com.